Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Anime Cavalcade, and as you can see, the Anime Cavalcade might be a little late depending on when this comes out, either on a late Monday or early Tuesday. That's kind of what's going to have to be the next couple of weeks as we all try to, well, me personally, because it's on my work, try to catch up on all of the stuff that's going to happen for fall season, as well as stack up a couple of videos that we have planned. So yeah, things are getting kind of busy as we try, so forgive me if I'm a little behind on things. I will also say as well, after looking at other things and making sure things are okay and such like that, I've kind of realized there is a way to actually talk about Sunday anime. It's just, you know, it's a bit annoying, but that does mean that we will be talking about the most recent episodes of Gachiakuta and To Be Hero X in this episode as well. So we'll be catching up on all that good stuff for y'all. But I've rambled enough. I've talked about too much already, so why don't you say we go ahead and we go and talk about the anime for this season. I can't talk, but we're going to talk about some anime for this season. And the first episode we're going to be talking about is Dandadan, and I'm not going to lie, I might go through this a bit quicker than usual, mainly because I was recording something and I realized that I kind of messed up. So forgive me if the Dandadan section, it goes a bit quick. But I did actually like this episode a lot. I liked the whole musical aspect of it. Again, I've mentioned it time and time again on many channels that I'm a big music guy. Anytime you can implement music in the show or anytime any cool music happens, I love it. It's cool. It's awesome. It makes me feel happy. And this episode, the whole description with the switch beats and the 10 switches and having to have him be like, oh, you gotta fight on beat. Oh, it's so good. It makes me happy so much. And like the first part of it where they're all fighting the ghosts, I think that's super cool. I think it's all awesome, like seeing all like all the fear from all the musical students that they just manifest into these vengeful spirits who are judging anybody who plays in the computer on the piano. And then we get this whole scene of like the opera house and the big stuff. Ira also went off as well. I didn't bring it up before, but Ira absolutely went off in this episode, and it was like, oh man, like we forget that, like, I feel like Ira's kind of become like the fourth forgotten person in this. Like, I get it, this whole season so far has been surrounded around Gigi and obviously Hikaru and Momo. They're very much still a thing because they're the main characters of the show, but I feel like Ira's taking like a little bit of a backseat, which kind of sucks. So I'm glad that Ira got some love in this episode because she really deserved it. Even if Ira can sometimes be a little difficult to work with. And then the other part of this episode where you have Psycho and everyone else talking to Gigi, talking about how he can't keep the Nyaight in him anymore, and that's becoming a bigger problem, which, to be fair, I do agree with the disciple. It is becoming kind of a problem. So, like, he's like, okay, we gotta, like, get rid of it because, you know, it's a problem. But obviously everyone's just kind of like, we can't really do that. I felt weird seeing that because it's just like, no, it is obvious that this is a problem. And I don't know why everybody is treating it like it's not a problem. Like, let's be real for a second. This, like, I get it, but like, it'd be better to just, like, not exterminate, but exercise Gigi away from the Nyaight. I don't know why this is even like a, I mean, I get the point, right? The handling spirits, but in this situation, there's a lot of ghosts that I could mess with in Dandadan, but I feel like this is the one where it's like, this one's a little bit too dangerous. But I know it'll most likely pay off at some point, or I know he'll most likely either become chill, or maybe he'll just be begrudgingly beside them. Kind of like how Turbo Granny is, where it's like, I don't like you, but I like Gigi, and so I shall stay. So I could see that. If they do dynamic and like the Nyaight actually becomes like really clingy towards Gigi, I think that could add some comedic value to it. I do actually like how this episode ended, seeing Hikaru kind of, well, it's not the first time we've seen him man up, but like him actually go like kind of hard and being like, no, I'm gonna do this because it pisses me off that Momo and everybody else gets hurt. Well, he's specifically Momo, but like everybody else gets hurt. And so like, I think we're gonna be in for a really cool episode next time, the next most recent episode, which I think is going to be fun and awesome, and it's going to be a lot of fighting and a lot of awesome kick-ass motion. I do hope that most of the episode is just them fighting. I also do hope we get introduction. So I have seen, I need to say this as well, I have seen a character I think he's like the 5th member. And I thought he was going to come out this episode because I swear to God, I thought I saw a clip of him. But it's the dude who, like, I don't know what he's into. I want to say he's into robots, but he's a fat man with glasses and he does weird poses. And, like, I don't know if just, you know, Japanese release has it ahead of us and, you know, stuff gets spoiled. But, like, he's been someone who I've been so fascinated with ever since I saw his introduction panel. Like, I never read the manga, but I saw his introduction panel. And so I'm kind of, like, sitting there. I'm like, who are you? Who are you and what do you do, sir? Because you are very interesting. And I want to see what you're about. So I hope that we do get more of him. And I hope that, well, not more of him. I hope we get to see him, not the next episode, because next episode, I need my fight scene. But I would be cool to see an episode of that, see what he's about, see what he does, all that stuff, you know, that'd be cool. But yeah, no, overall, genuinely fun episode. I really liked it. It was probably like my favorite of the season and my second favorite of the whole series. The next anime we're going to be talking about is, what is it called? What is the what anime are we talking about? Oh my god. Right, the next anime we're going to be talking about is My Just Darling Season 2. My bad, I don't know why I thought we were still on Dandadan. Now, I will admit, this one for me was probably on the, like, lesser side in terms of episodes that I was interested in when talking about My Dress Up Darling. Honestly, it was fairly simple. Marin and Gojo end up going to another cosplay type of event, and because of it, they end up meeting with friends. We see them interact for the first time. I think it's more a sense of just getting the chance to actually see everybody we've seen or seen them interact with so far kind of bunch up in one place, which I thought was cool. Obviously, the cosplayer, crossdresser, has returned, I forget his name, along with another one who were friends, who I also think is in college, and then Gojo ends up meeting with someone named Akira, who ends up actually being like a woman, and I guess she thought that Gojo was a woman, and Gojo thought that, you know, she was a man, so there's like a bit of confusion, but it's like understandable, stuff like that. The thing about this entire episode, also I will say they do get lunch, they did talk, and they set up like another photo shoot stuff. The two things that interest me about this episode for me though, that I think will make next week's episode very, very interesting, is the fact that we have Akira, who once seeing Marin was very cold, was very quiet, and was definitely angry. Now my like assumption for all of that of why she's acting this way is I feel like it will have to do something with her modeling, because it seems like everyone else kind of knows something, right? Like Gojo and Marin doesn't know, but the girl who is the photographer in this episode and her friend who is also a cross-dressing cosplayer, but cross-dressing from female to male, they seemed like they were kind of, they knew what was happening with Akira, and like when Marin offered up her assistance to go, well, the guy offered to help and then offered up Marin as assistance. Marin didn't really jump in it, but she also agreed as well. And so like everyone was a bit worried, and Akira seemed like she was like angry, and I'm surprised Marin and Gojo didn't pick up on it at all, but the younger guy did, like not the younger guy, but the college guy did. So that interested me. That one got me confused. I was just like, huh. So like, I wonder what's going on here. Like, they seem like there might be some beef, but I can't tell exactly what's going on here. Like, well, I assume we'll get more information down the road. Well, not down the road. I expect by next week we'll have some information, or at the very least see some interaction between Marin and Akira properly happen. But like, I'm curious. I assume it has to be something to do with the modeling job. That's the only real thing I can actually think actually happened, unless it's something completely from left field. Which, to be fair, I can't believe that something that is going to be from like super left field is going to be the thing that they find out is the reason why Akira doesn't like Marin, because it does not look like she likes Marin. It looks like she doesn't just hate, she despises Marin. So that's going to be interesting. On top of all that, we're going to add the little firecracker element that was from last season. I forget her name, but she was definitely the more popular cosplayer with an actual following that was like a bit feisty, but a bit prudy, and she's definitely younger than everybody else. So that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. Not in terms of like, in terms of a lot of things, in terms of obviously Akira and Marin and what past they might have, but also in terms of just seeing the dynamic age gaps and seeing how, like, you know, one girl's gonna be the youngest, but she's also probably the most popular one out there and like all that stuff. So I'm very fascinated as to how that is gonna all play out. Maybe it'll be juicy drama, maybe it will be nothing, but we'll have to see. I'm very excited. I'm like it or not, and I can't wait for next week. I hope this doesn't continue, because I'm noticing I am noticing a trend where I am saying this is going to be good next week. So I didn't think this week was bad at all. I'm very excited for other anime to talk about this week, but yeah. Next up, we're going to be talking about Sakamoto Days, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what happened, but I find myself enjoying this series a lot more. I don't know what changed. Maybe that's something to do with the previous arc and seeing that like we got a direction that I actually fuck with, but it does seem like I'm enjoying this a lot more now. It seems like I am enjoying Sakamoto Days a lot more than I am. But with the most recent episode that we're going to be talking about, or the episode that you could see literally right there. So the whole episode basically takes place in the plane. There's the very beginning that obviously talks about how they're gonna break into the JAA Academy, or is it called the JAA, or is it the JCC? I actually don't know. But they're trying to break into the assassination school, and they're wondering, well, how are we gonna do that? And Sakamoto's great idea is, hey, let's just be students. Which, hey, I mean, I guess it worked. I mean, I had the same idea Shin had. I wonder if people were going to ever notice, since, you know, Sakamoto is not, first of all, he's a very large man, but second of all, he's a very notable assassin, and everyone knows how Sakamoto looks, even in his big form, so it's kind of like, well, how exactly are we going to get around this? He's just wearing a cap, and somehow it works, and even halfway through he loses the cap, and I don't know why people didn't at least recognize him, but oh well, I guess. But yes, the whole rest of this episode ends up taking place within like the plane, and we do get some somewhat notable characters. There's a girl who I swear her design looks like she's based on an axolotl. I might be crazy, but when I saw her, I was like, you look like you'd be an axolotl. You look like you would, like your hair is trying to be like an axolotl. I might be wrong, I might be crazy, but that's what I got. I thought to me, she looked like an axolotl. There's another assassin there who is like 14, but he's also like a germaphobe. And then there's one who's like a veteran type dude who's like taking the test multiple times, and he thinks he's a hot shot, but obviously if you've taken the test multiple times, you suck. But quickly, I mean, things escalate. The first test is on the plane. They gotta find the actual like actual faculty that are holding bullets, and they're all just there. It's just a good little slaughter fest of an episode. Honest to God, nothing too crazy actually happened in this episode. I'm quite surprised that it was, you know, well, it wasn't tame, but it's tame for what the show has tried to give us. But like, I will say, yeah, I am enjoying Sakamoto Days a lot more than I was before. I think it's just the fact that like, we kind of, all the pieces are finally falling into place for me, but I think I could safely say that like, if I read the manga and I read how the manga's paced, probably gonna dislike this anime back again, which I didn't dislike it before. I didn't dislike it before. I just thought that like, in terms of what it was doing, it was fine. It wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't nothing. It doesn't seem like it's nothing. So I don't know. Maybe we'll go ahead and see how this goes. Right now, it's on the up. Right now, it's on the up for me, which is good for it. So we'll see how this goes, man. Maybe I'll enjoy it, maybe not. Next anime we're going to be talking about is City the Animation. And forgive me, I'm not recording this on my normal day, and it has been a few days since I've watched City. The City the Animation has a lot of stories, so I'm going to try to go through them as best as I can if I can remember. But I figured out probably some of the best way that I could probably talk about City the Animation while being efficient. It's just give me my short little blurb on the little stories, so forgive me if, well, to be fair, a lot of these are going to be short because I'm just trying to knock this out. But, you know, we'll talk about it. we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it. First little story they told is about the dad trying to give the customer fried rice. I think it's funny the lengths that the man go to make fried rice that was completely just average fried rice. So that was a funny bit, just seeing him go. and like beg for rice, get like a special egg from a chicken that shoots eggs, and like cooking in the side of like near an ocean, near off a cliff. It's just like, yeah, I need the perfect texture and blah blah blah. And it's just like, it is very average. So that was funny. That story actually adds on to like the little bit as well, where the dad's so sad and his kids are trying to cheer him up. And so him and like the main like girl tomboy that we have, they're trying to cheer him up, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck it, we're making Western food. And so he has like his motivation again, but he's still sad. Like he goes to day being like, oh, I'm glad I changed, blah blah blah. And then he goes completely sad. And he's like, my life is ruined. Oh, so dumb. Then, if I'm not recall, the next two little stories are about like our three main girls that we follow. One where they're all sleeping over, and I can't tell if like they just live together now, or if it's just one of those like, they're just over, and you know they sleep in the cabinet because they hang out for so long. But it confused me a little bit. But like our like main girl is like mad, and the other two are pestering her, talking about mad, and it's just the whole story of blaming each other on why they're mad on each other. It was like, okay, yeah, typical friend stuff. Then that same girl, our main girl, I really need to remember the names of these girls. Our main girl has a little bit of a late night snack, and so she goes and she, in full, very detailed type of stuff, talks about how she eats a ramen packet, and where she like bites the ramen first before, like, okay, eating ramen packets, that's fun, right? I've seen people eat it dry. Like it's not out of the blue. It's fairly common from what, at least in the area that I live in. I live in California. I'm okay with saying that, but like yeah, it's like fairly okay, right? Like it's right. I know a lot of people who've done that in the past, and like even now I know people who still do that. But like the amount of detail and particular ways that she goes is insane. Where she eats the ramen packet first, and then she like, you know, savors the crunch and of the oil in it, and then opens the packet, and then like takes her tongue, and in her words, she takes her you know what and puts it in the you know who, and then she does the you know what to the you know who, and I was like, okay, you just said ramen packet, I get it. It does look very sensual though, I will say that. And then she just goes back and forth from like licking it and eating it and licking it and eating it, and I think eventually she does just put it in there and then devour the rest of the thing. But then she just ends up having to leave and eat ramen, and that's just it. So it's just like, you know, you could have just ate ramen, but okay, whatever. Then the one that I thought was the funniest in this episode was they introduced a barber who, you know, he's a barber, so he gets paid to do haircuts. But there are some people who don't pay in money, but in goods. But that's because he doesn't charge for shortcuts, which is basically like, you know, just cutting your hair short, no styling or anything like that. Just like a nice little good trim, and that's it, right? He doesn't charge for those, which I think it's cool. I don't think, man, I would love if a show were to practice that type of shit. But regardless, he talks about how like he has a very small, like he does have a decent clientele, but there's only a small part of his clientele that actually does go in for the shortcuts, and like he lists them all, and everyone gives like different things. Like there's a girl who brings trinkets that is like, sometimes they're whatever, but they're collector's items. So she's like, oh, they're like, oh, that's cool. There's a dude who like, there's like the manga dude who makes Mr. Bummer, and the editor who posts Mr. Bummer, and the Mr. Bummer manga is like, your manga shit, this doesn't sell for anything. But then the editor's manga actually sells for like a lot of money, and he's like, whoa, who is this guy that like is giving me this expensive manga to sell? And then obviously it's the dad of the girl, which I forget that same girl is that girl. So I keep forgetting this. The father who runs the who's the chef who runs the food stand or the food shop or whatever the shop or whatever food he sells. I forget that his daughter, we're following her. I keep forgetting her. Who? God, I can't talk. His daughter, we're following her story through like the thing that's happening with the girl leaving for the UK, and like I totally forgot that was his daughter. I also forget that the captain who's part of the soccer team, that's his son. I do forget that, and I'm just like, oh, these people aren't like extremely removed from each other. I actually do forget that this person is actually very entrenched within the story. I just completely forgot about that. But yeah, City of the Animation, I think I've gotten to a point where it's very much at a okay pace for me. It's not something that's like blowing my mind or something that is being like super amazing, but it's something that I'm like, okay, I'm having fun with it. I understand what it is. Will I rate it highly? Probably not, but it's a fun show regardless, and I'm just enjoying my time with it. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4. Now before, sometime last week, I did bring up the fact that, you know, with them and how the land looks and how the story they're trying to tell and whatnot, it felt like Genshin Impact. Now obviously I meant that as like a jokey joke. I mean, I was a little bit serious because I was serious, but also I can acknowledge the fact that this story came out before Genshin Impact, so if anything, I can acknowledge the fact that this came first, obviously. But this episode, it just had our little crew of Ratalia, Naofumi, and the Orca girl, I forget her name, and the dragon, as they finally get onto the land, deal with some stuff. Apparently not supposed to murder any other animals, but her with her quick thinking, which I guess also the orca, I think as well, is from Kyutenlo. I'm not 100% sure, because she knows the rules really well. I think both her and Raftalia are from Kyutenlo. At least it sounded like it. Because also, as like they deal with the whole thing, a dude who, spoiler alert, I will just spread it. The dude that we see that fawns over Ratalia and the orca girl is the old master of the dude of the blacksmith who's coming with Naofumi and his team. So, but they're like, we don't know that. They just fawn over them, and then they get what do you call it? Tracked, followed. They get followed, only to realize that there is a small rebellion that is there to go against the emperor and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, we've been waiting for Raftalia to come back in order to take her rightful place in her family's throne, and you know, explaining that her father was persecuted for the throne, or not persecuted, but was threatened by death with the throne. So it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, yeah, he had to leave for his own, you know, his own safety, because it's like, hey, I can't be being murked off knowing that I have a daughter and my daughter potentially facing the same threat. I need to leave, and that's exactly what he did. They started off the rebellion. They fought off against the Emperor's guards, protecting the shield that's covering the entire island, and they got rid of one of them, taking down, I think, most of the shields, or at least one part of the shield. That way the rest of the crew can get on the island, and I think they kind of have this home base at the village now. And honestly, the fights were okay. Again, there is definitely a quality drop from season 2 and 3, but nothing that I hate and nothing that I think is super egregious. I think the problem that I have personally is like the pacing of it. I feel like this went really fast for everything that was supposed to be. Maybe this happens how it is, but I feel like, you know, them coming onto shore should have happened next week. Like, it felt like we should have a lot more of like lore explanation this episode, and then have like the actual rebellion happen next episode. Maybe I'm insane for that, but I feel like we're going really far or really fast with this story. I would have to, you know what, I'm very interested. Let me look up how many episodes we have left of Shield Hero, because I don't know if Shield Hero is ending this season or if it's going to be a 24 episode. I would need to check. So let me go ahead and check that actually real quick. Okay, so that makes for me a little bit more sense now. Now that I look at it, it is 12 episodes, because I felt like the first season was 24 episodes. So I was able to basically tell like 2 different little stories, which I think was really good for that. The second and third seasons for Shield Hero, all they were 12 episodes, but they all told a story where it was all one season of the story, right? And if you want to be technical, the Kyutenlo stuff could all be one story. It's just Siltveld seems like such like a side piece to everything else, where it's like, oh, it's its own story and its own arc with its own thing, and it felt like pretty final in terms of like an arc. That's why I'm like, it seems like this season feels like it's telling 2 arcs, where it's like, oh, I feel like we spent a lot more time exploring like other world stuff and other lore stuff, especially for this, like, now that we're in Kyutenlo, it's just like, oh, I feel like we'd be spending more time learning about other things. But no, it feels like we're going pretty fast. We're just like, you know what, we've done enough lore, just boom, 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 just talk about the important things, and that's fine, that's whatever. But yeah, like, I didn't necessarily hate this episode, it just caught me off guard a little bit. I just sat there and like, I see. I guess we're not really talking about like all the other lore stuff, which, to be fair, that could happen next episode. This might have just been like okay, let's just get this part over with, and then we can spend time doing maybe some lore, maybe some world building, maybe some other stuff. It could obviously be that. Just for me, when I sat there, I was like, ooh, we're going a little fast. Oh, we're going a lot fast. I don't know if I like it, but all in all, I mean, it was a fine episode. It was whatever. Next show that we're going to be talking about is Panty and Stalking. It's whatever episode that this is, and I mean, it's just more insanity. What can I say in this point? It's just more insanity. I enjoy the insanity, but it's just more insanity. So for this episode, we have gone back to the normal format of episodes, or normal format of multiple stories, but we do only have 2 stories that we're talking about, which I think is a pretty good pace. They were doing 3 stories, which I think was devaluing or watering down those board stories. But again, it's one of those things of, I would like some of those stories to be expanded more, but at the same time, if you can't, then you can't. So it's kind of just like, what can you do? But the first one is called Independence. First one's called Independence Day. That's a funny title. But that one, all the girls are basically getting Garter belt and brief and the little dog thing to just do all their chores, and they just say, you know what, screw it. We don't need you guys. We're gonna go away. We're gonna have a guys trip to I think the place is called New Vegas. No, it's not called New Vegas. That would be a lot of copyright infringement. I don't think it's called New Vegas. I think it's called something else. I don't remember. But they go and they have a trip when they run into, oh my god. They're both in the names are like one of them named polyester. The other one's called like polyophyte or polymorphine. I don't remember, but they're both like, it's like poly something. I know that. But the 2 male twin angels, they all end up connecting and having their like a day off, and I seriously just can't get over the fact that they're just talking in like just Gen Alpha slang. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh my god, it is motherfucking brain rotted to the core, and I feel fucking dead inside. And honestly, I don't even know what's more upsetting, the fact that they're doing it or the fact that I understand what they're saying when they do it. It's just kind of like, are they the problem or am I actually the problem? Either way, it's a very bromance episode that ends in a very typical fashion of, oh yeah, you know, the 2 bros who you thought were bad would chill, but like they don't actually step up, and then the people who do care about you do step up. Except they don't. They're only just there because it's just like, hey, you need to do your chores. Why the fuck are you fucking around? Typical Panty and Stalking and knee socks, and I still forget that sister's name, but those 4. And they're typical shenanigans. There we go. And then the episode after that is called The Long Beach Yard. Oh my god. And this one I actually found really fun. They were talking about their Panty and Stalking. I don't know why or how, but they all ended up in prison, along with Knee Socks and her sister. And like, they're all just living there trying to get out. But then there's like, oh well, there's a football game where if you can win the game, then you get your freedom. And so they're trying to make a team, like a posh team, to try to be good. All the while there's someone watching them just constantly just being like, oh, the bitch meter, the la 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 meter, the all that meter. And it's just like, okay, yeah, this is typical. Like, nothing in this show surprises me anymore. That's why I'm just like so numb to it. That's why I wish I can give more of a reaction. But I'm kind of just like I just like it just doesn't surprise me as much, man. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm still enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad I have it. I still enjoy it. It's just I'm so used to it right now. I'm just like, ah, yes. The whole prison is the ghost, and so they tried to fight the whole prison ghost in order to win the game and stop being bitches to each other and become proper friends, because friends win all. Which I was like, that has one of the more pleasant endings too, because all the 4 girls actually are happy at the end, are just like, hey, we did like a pretty good damn job. And it's like, you know what? We really did. So that was fun. I mean, what can I say? It's shenanigans, it's chicanery, it's all this, it's all that and all and more in a bag of chips. Our next anime that we're going to be talking about is Kaiju number 8. And this episode was basically more of the build-up episode, or not build-up episode, but like the prepare episode, right? Where last time we watched it, it was more of everyone grieving about the commander and everyone being like, yep, we got to prepare and we got to do what we need to do. And this was like the preparation, but before the preparation, we saw the vice captain of the 3rd Division. I usually remember his name. I don't know why I don't now. But we had the vice captain for 3rd Division come and talk to Kaiju number 10 and tell him everything that he knows about Kaiju number 9. But in order for that to happen, he wants to be turned into a weapon. And obviously the vice captain's like, you know what? It's scary and it's risky, but we gotta do what we gotta do. A lot of this episode has to be summed up with everyone kind of locking in and just being like, hey, we gotta do what we gotta do. And you know what? I love that. I love that about this show. I have some gripes though, I will say. But after that, the 3rd Division and the 1st Division meet up at a main place, and the rest of the divisions have a call-in where they basically explain like, listen, Kaiju number 9 is making kaijus. He made Kaiju number 10. He can make more kaijus. He can make kaijus with a 9 and above fortitude. So this is a problem. So we need 1 month to train all of our people as fast as we can, and basically push out the future that is now. And overall, there is just kind of a consensus. But hold on, wait a second. Give me a second. Reno and Furu. That's what their name is. God, this whole time I couldn't remember their names. And honestly, they're becoming, like, their part that I really like is actually coming up. So I have to remember their names. It's Reno and Fudu. And so one of the big things in the meeting is that Habano, I think Habano, everything's clicking now. Habano, who I'm pretty sure that's how you say the vice captain's, the 3rd Division, the vice captain's name. I might be wrong about that. I'm not 100% sure. But Habano brings up the fact that, hey, we do have an ultimate weapon. We do have a very strong weapon. And he's still, to this day, one of the strongest kaijus that we have had, like, ever encountered still. And it is Kaiju number 6, which is the one that has a bunch of vice. Shinomiya's mom is the one that ended up defeating it, but they turned it into a weapon. And that one is, I mean, Kaiju weapons already hurt the user a lot, but this one's like, no, it really hurts the user. And so we finally get to the point. I forget what division Reno got sent to. I want to say it was the 5th Division. Don't remember. But the leader of whatever division Reno's a part of right now has, like, you know, kind of like old man drinking sake type stuff, like the nonchalant but can be sometimes serious type of person. Like, not like Nanami, where Nanami is like a bit too much. He's more relaxed, where he still needs to be reined in from time to time, but it's like nowhere near as bad as Nanami. Also, I don't know why I just noticed it now, but it is very amusing and very funny that all the female leaders of the defense force are just actually like super serious and super like locked in, and all the guys are just kind of like, yeah. I mean, unless you count like the captain for like not the 1st Division, but like the commander, but he's not really part of a division, and he's also gone now. So, but Reno is offered a suit, and his captain does say that he doesn't think it's a good idea. But Reno decides to agree, and I was wondering how they were going to approach that. My God, man, if there's anything Kaiju number 8 is definitely good at, it is the visuals, man, because that is so good. It is so good. It is so good. Obviously, though, he can't take it for the first time, but Reno decides that he's gonna go all out. If Kaku's gonna go all out and throw his body to the wind, then Reno's going to do the same thing to try to meet him. And the commander's like, that's a dangerous mentality, but if you insist. And that's where we all are. That's where we are with that right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm at a weird place with the Kaiju number 8 like animation right now. I'm still liking it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still very much happy with everything that I've been getting. But I think I'm longing now for something that's a bit more serious, because we do get the meeting with the 1st and the 3rd. And the 1st and the 3rd are kind of in the same jurisdiction, but not really. But they are considered rivals within the defense force. And from what I remember, the meeting in the manga was a bit more serious. Like, it was still pretty, like, you know, like goofy from Nanami's side, because Nanami is an egotistical captain. But it wasn't as goofy as they played it off. And I don't know. I don't like the way they did it in this adaptation. Like, I am starting to lean more and more over the fact of just, man, the Kaiju number 8. I love you as an anime. You're aesthetically pleasing, and when your tone is right, your tone is right. But after seeing the seriousness that you guys can get to, and how passionate, like, you could put into things, I don't know, man. Every time I see a comedic part that I feel like should be treated serious, like, I feel like at this point, after losing the commander, things should just feel a lot more serious, and they still don't. Everyone's just kind of like, you know, like whatever, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't necessarily mind the comedy. I still would stand by that. I just long for something that just, I don't know, it would feel a bit more intense. But you could also make the argument that because it's so comedic, when they do those serious moments shine. And like, there is an actual argument to me. I just think the comedic part's like slightly hampering the potential that Kaiju number 8 could have. And to be fair, I still think it's good. I still think it's a phenomenal show, and I still think it's fantastic and shit. It's just looking at it, I just sit there and I'm just like, man, this is difficult. But overall, it's a fine show. It's a preparation show, and I know what's coming next. Man, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. I'm just gonna say that much. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is the Summer Hikaru died with the episode. I'm pretty sure it's episode 8 or something like that, where we now see our main boy kind of just, not even slowly, I have to assume he's just fully embraced the concept of the current Hikaru at this point. I will admit, to an extent, it does feel like a bit of copium, as he's now being confronted with a few other things. His friend, like Asako, talking to them about him potentially being possessed, him being like still tiptoeing around it, but her obviously knowing that something is somewhat up with the current Hikaru, and him, you know, them going around searching for answers, actually trying to finally understand what exactly this version of Hikaru is. Even going as far as to talk to the lady who got murked in the first episode, I think it was. Her daughter comes back. Either she comes back or she's like away somewhere else that the boys are, and explains that like, oh yeah, she had these like superstition stuffs and yada yada yada. But like Hikaru's sitting there being like, oh no, I did that. But main boy is just like, don't worry about it. You didn't understand. It's fine. Like, no matter what you do, I'll burden the shoulders, and like I'll burden those shoulders with you, or I'll burden the weight of those things with you. Which now seems he's just full on dive into the delusion, where it's just like, you were supposed to split away, and now you're diving in. Like, I know why I made like the yaoi bait jokes like all those weeks back, but like this does feel like it is a toxic relationship. I don't know if that's what this is supposed to be, a metaphor of like a toxic relationship with somebody like diving deep into it and like not really like understanding when to back off, because I feel like MC's about to be in a whole lick of trouble, especially with the detective that's been lurking around the village. He's now taking notice of the boy, and it's just like, oh no, he sees you. That's not good. That's never good. It also does seem like as well that there is more and more aggressive ghosts that are chasing them, Hikaru and the MC of the show, where the like last part of this episode is Hikaru trying to fight off a ghost that's in the restaurant, and he can't do it, which I feel like that's the reason for him, like, it's because he doesn't have the other half of himself. He can't really do that, which at that point I would just kind of give it to him and be like, okay, if you genuinely can't fight back that much because it's hurting you, like it is doing this much damage for you to fight back, yeah, no, just take the other half. Like, I rather like, cause like, hey, this thing wants to protect me, whatever it is, fine, go ahead. At least at that point, like, I can give you the power to actually do that. But surprisingly enough, interestingly enough, the one thing that we see that comes back is the old woman. The old woman not only comes to like help them, she like smacks the hell out of that thing. And the boys are like, you know, brought back to reality, as the closing scene for that episode is the old woman. So I don't know if the old woman is going to help. I don't know if the old woman's going to feed into the MC's delusions. I'm very interested, because I thought she wasn't going to be a focal point till way later and like someone who's very aggressive, but she's coming in and very warm and welcoming, and I wouldn't have expected to actually save the boys. Well, maybe the MC, but not Hikaru, given the fact that she sent something evil. But maybe she's on the same wavelength as the MC. Maybe she sees that Hikaru isn't necessarily a threat in this form, because it's like, oh, he's, you know, gained a level of consciousness. So this is gonna be interesting to explore. The Summer Hikaru die has definitely been like a highlight for this season. I wouldn't say I've been like super No, that's not true. I've been very impressed. Art-wise, story-wise, it's been a very fun story to enjoy. I'm about to say I haven't been as impressed as I wanted to be. No, I'm pretty entertained, and I'm pretty impressed by what this show has accomplished. So, yeah, enjoying it 100%. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is Gachiakuta, and we have 2 episodes to talk about, because obviously we didn't talk about it last week, because I thought, you know, I thought I could only not talk about Sunday anime, but I can, because I realized it was actually quite an easy fix. So we will be talking about both of these episodes, and both of these episodes have to do with the introduction of Jabber, which I am very, very much in love with. So I forget what number this is, but the episode before this was them basically running away as their boy was trying to give them some time, and then Jabber shows up and quite literally messes up everything. But it's also cool because Rudo finally found a way to use his power, and we thought his power was just to bring out the latent ability. Well, somewhat. It wasn't just like he could bring out the powers of any item. He like brings them to their full potential because he views everything as having some use and some merit to somebody. And so we see Rudo more or less properly use his power for the first time as he got the talisman from that main supporter dude. And honestly, it's cool. It's a simple one. I like the First of all, the design of it is super cool. I love the eye design. I love the fact that it looks like a weird little tiki floating thing. Oh, it's so good. I love the design of it. And I also love the design of Jabber. And I will say, Jabber from Gachiakuta, that voice actor, the English dub, boy, he is killing that. He is killing that shit. He is killing the crazy act. He's good. He is good. Like, man, he's up there. I don't know if I go for him, but he's up there for voice actor of the year for me. That boy is killing it. But in the first episode, or the first half of the previous episode, no, not first half, second half of the previous episode, Rudo actually counters Jabber pretty well for the most part. That is until Jabber just starts tweaking out on his own poison. And then the whole episode is them fighting. The Rudo's master ends up coming to the rescue to help out, but it still doesn't take Jabber down. They have a good 2-1 thing going on. I will say it was very smart in the way they did that. But again, it's not enough to take down Jabber. That boy is tough, and I'm not gonna lie. I was afraid that Jabber was gonna get the same treatment as those other two, kind of be treated as fodder. I am actually so glad that was not the case, because that was my big fear. I didn't want Jabber to be treated as just kind of like some whatever and some like 2-bit villain. I was like, no, his concept is too good and his voice actor is too good to be wasted. But he doesn't, because he tries to take Rudo. The rest of the cleaners come to try to rescue him, and then they're just like, all right, well, peace, homie. We ain't really got much going on. And it's just like, oh, and honestly, I love the way they hinted at the boss as well, where Jabber is being taken by one of the other members, and he's just like, come on, boss says we need to go. It's like, hell no, I want to keep fighting. Like, right here, and it's like, hey, when I left, the boss was smiling, and you just see this. It was the first time we saw like actual dread and fear from like his face, and he's just like, oh, hey man, it's been fun, but you know what, yo, we gotta go. Oh, we'll catch you on the flip side. We also gotta hit as well that Rudo's gloves might be a bit special than what we were thinking. So I assume that, yeah, his gloves will probably be like his main instrument. I would not be surprised if that was the case. But yeah, man, I'm loving Gachiakuta, dude. I love it. I'm at a weird, I like it, but I'm also at a weird place with this as well. I'm like super high on it, but I also understand that it's like, I feel like there's something missing for me to really love it. Because right now I'm just like, no, it's cool. Like, I fuck with it. I'm not like foaming at the mouth being like, I need another episode and I need to watch the manga because like I'm not like that. Like, I'm not on that Blue Lock level. I'm not on that level yet. There was another anime from spring that I feel like I was like this, but I'm not on that level yet with it. But I can see it going that way if it keeps giving me good shit. Because right now, Gachiakuta, that shit's fire. Would it be top of the season? Yes, if we count spring. No, if we count spring, because spring has is probably still up there. Like the spring leftovers probably still have like a good amount of stuff. So I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd put Gachiakuta on top 3. If we remove the spring leftovers, then maybe. But right now, probably not. But I'm still liking it. I'm still fucking with it. I'm still rocking with it. The next anime we're going to be talking about is With You and the Rain. Again, more just little wholesomeness. There's not much that I could say on this because everything I've said I've repeated. So I'm just gonna quickly explain the episode because, again, it's not much that I could say. I'll probably give my thoughts here and there, but that's probably what we're gonna do from here on out. But this one did not have the bunch of stories. This one had two main stories where it's Fu-chan, the Tanuki dog thing, and her little blonde, like the little blonde girl, and they're all like eating ducks, not eating ducks, but they're all feeding ducks and just talking and chit chatting. They talk about like where ducks go and how they travel. We also find out that the girl is actually German and Japanese, which I thought was kind of interesting. And so she speaks German. She speaks German at home, and I think she tries to speak Japanese. She speaks German at home. She's learning kanji, but since she goes to an international school, they all speak English there. So it was like a weird thing. I'm like, God damn, this trilingual girl. Man, I would have loved to be trilingual like that. My God, all I can say is like a couple of like bad Spanish words, but that's about it. And you know what? Oh my God. Okay, super side tangent. I'm so sorry for this. My God, the potential for me was so high. I had the potential to be trilingual because I grew up in a Hispanic area. Obviously, I speak English, and then I grew up in a Haitian household with a Haitian family because I'm half Haitian. So, man, seeing a girl being like, "Oh yeah, I can do this and that," it's like, man, I could have spoke English, Spanish, and Creole. My God, I would have been a language threat. I just wanted to put that in there. That was just a side note. And then the second half was seeing a Fu-chan's little manga thing and just seeing the little interaction again and how they talk and whatnot. It hasn't been a big focal point. I think that's the only thing I'm kind of disappointed in. I really thought the manga was going to be a bigger deal, but honestly, it's just kind of been like, whatever for the most part. Which is like, it's fine. It's fine, I guess, but like, I thought we'd give it a little bit more attention, a little bit more love, a little more focus and explore like her manga thing. But like, it really is just like a pure, like, slice of life, whatever, because like there's no real turmoil, there's no real nothing. I thought we were going to start when she got the manga job, but that's just whatever. Or at least thought that girl was also going to be like more a part of things. Again, we still got a couple more episodes left, like 3 or 4 until like the stuff is over. So it's like, okay, sure, we might be able to get something, but like I thought we were gonna get a little bit more. I thought we were gonna get a little bit more of the bubbly, but we didn't get a little bit more of the bubbly. We did, like, it was just kind of whatever. So I mean, it's fine. I'm not tripping about it. It's just kind of like, but it was also cute seeing the little Tanuki dog just by himself, just kind of trying to entertain himself. And then when Fu-chan comes home, the Tanuki dog goes up and like being like, "I missed you," which is very, very adorable. And like, again, they have this like cute little bond that the show will like highlight so often. It's just like, "I missed you too, buddy. Like, it really sucks being alone, huh?" And I think, oh no, there was another story. Pardon me. There's another story. I was going to end it right there. There was a third story, and there was actually something quite interesting in this one too, where her 2 friends come over, they have drinks, they do like a little get-together thing, and she drinks a little bit too much, so she goes off with a walk along with the Tanuki dog. And like she's like talking with him, being like, "Oh yeah, like it's snowy time, like it's like, you wonder why like I have them around." It's like, because they keep you company, because you know it's good to have friends and it's good to make memories, and like, you know, just reminds me about where I am and where I'm from, and it grounds me. And then she asks, like, "What's your history? What's your story?" And we see 2 glimpses of a flashback. One in the rain and another one on a boat, which makes me assume that he was like probably from. I wonder if we'll ever. I don't know, because the show hasn't like dived too deeply into anything, but like it'd be interesting to see. Like they hinted at the fact that the Tanuki dog has a background. He has a background somewhere. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Mr. Tanuki dog. I see you got something. And so it's like, okay, maybe the last couple of episodes we'll actually like explore or like get answers as to like why the Tanuki dog was even there in the first place, and like what exactly happened. Watch it be super mega depressing. That'd be insane. Imagine it being super mega depressing. Man, that would kill me, honestly. But yeah, nothing super crazy, nothing super big, just kind of just like, you know, I'm enjoyed it. We got a little bit of info, but other than that, nothing much. And ladies and gentlemen, we have returned to the spring leftovers part of the episode. And on top of that, we have also returned back with Shirley Ann. And what a return, brother! Ooh! Why is both of the spring anime the one that got me the most? I shit you not. They both got me the most. So let's go ahead and let's talk about it, because oh baby. So this episode of Shirley Ann, episode 19, the newest episode, after its little 2-week hiatus, returns as it's summertime now, and Anna Shirley, I keep calling her Shirley Ann, I'm still never going to get that right, but Anna Shirley has returned back to Green Gables, to return back to Avalon, and when she returns, she sees that her friend Ruby is a bit sick, and apparently it is decided that she is not going to make it, she's not going to make it to see fall, and I'm already, apologies if I sound a bit weird, I might get a bit emotional, but let's talk about the first part. Let's talk about the first part before I get into this, or rather the second part. Let's talk about the second part of this episode before I get choked up. The second part of this episode kind of revolves around Anna trying to make this story in order to send over to the Canadian woman, which is funny because after a video that I watched, and I need to credit the person, I'm so sorry for not crediting you. You responded to my comment, I apologize, but I think I don't know if the anime did this, but I think it might be a play on how the story of Anna Shirley got sent over from Canada to Japan, and so it's kind of like playing off that big sendovers from wherever that is to Canada, which it wouldn't make sense because I think it's in the UK or something. So I don't know, disregard that actually. But I thought, she's trying to send over a story to the Canadian woman in Canada to try to get her book published because her friend did, and she's trying to make the story of how there is a girl and a man, and it's oh, they're perfect, but a guy tries to sabotage their love, but they end up dying, and everyone who's read it so far has been oh, I really like the story. My question is, why does this character die? Surely he's gonna be with the MC, right? And Anna doesn't want that, and I don't know if I don't know what it's supposed to represent. I feel like it's supposed to represent maybe her not wanting to be with, oh my god, with the dude who she's been flirty but not flirty with. I forget his name, which I feel so bad about. I want to say Gabriel, but it's not Gabriel. It might come back to me at some point. Which you do see a glimpse of him as she's running away from places, which again, we don't get much of him in this episode, but it's fine because that's not the point. The big focal point for this episode is the fact that her friend Ruby won't live to see fall. And the reason why this really got to me was because the way they told the story, the way they played out how she was barely able to do much of anything, and how she was talking about oh, when Christmas comes around or when winter comes around, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go off and teach in the UK somewhere or something like that. And it hurt because that is my exact fear. This episode played out my exact fear of death, where I apologize for anybody who might get triggered by this. I don't mean to. All right, it was very strong for me, and so I guess for this, trigger warning definitely. But Ruby degradates very slowly, and she tries to do things and she tries to do stuff. She even tries to throw parties like she used to, and tries to send invitations. And it gets to the point where she can't even put invitations in letters, and she has to lay down. And there's one part, and I knew it was gonna hit me, but I didn't realize how hard. Because there's a point where Anne goes to see Ruby, and she's sitting in a hammock, and she's hallucinating. She's at the point where she's hallucinating, and her mind's going, and she's just look, that's where I'll be. It's a grave, but she's hallucinating the fact that there's a grave. And the part that got me, oh fuck, Jesus Christ. The part that got me a lot was, I hate seeing the idea of somebody on their deathbed trying so hard to fight, and then them saying I want to live. Because that's tough. That's really, really fucking tough. It's both a fear in mine and something I hope I never hear from somebody in their deathbed. It hurts because it's the idea of there is somebody. It is somebody who still had their whole lives ahead of them, and that they got put in this situation where now it's I don't have much time left, and there's so many things I want to do, but now I can't do it. It's dying with the biggest regret, and it really, really hurts. It really hurts to see. it really fucking hurts to see. Like, when I saw that and I heard that line. And Anna Shirley is now, I think, officially, like, the hardest I've tried at something, or at least the second hardest. I think that title still belongs to the Fullmetal Alchemist, the Nina scene. We all know the Nina scene. But this was pretty hard. It was so hard to the point that, like, I will admit, like, I got a glimpse of what happened for the rest of the episode. Thank God it was, like, towards the end. Like, I got little things of her talking about, like, oh, yeah, I bet she's smiling in heaven and stuff like that. But, like, this got me. That got me, and I couldn't stop crying after 20 minutes. Like, I kept trying to compose myself, and I just kept crying. Because it's fucking hard, dude. It's hard watching that. It's hard experiencing that. Like, my God, if a show was able to do this to me, imagine how I'd be in real life. I'd be devastated. I don't think I'd be... If oh my God, if someone who I was close to like that, like a friend, and they were like that, and they told me that stuff of, hey, I want to live, dude, I can't. I don't think I could. I really don't think I could. I don't think I could take it. I really don't. Like, I'm not emotional, but my heart is definitely at a faster rate just thinking about it, because it gives me anxiety, man. It gives me a lot of anxiety thinking about. Like, God, like, apologies for being a bit vulnerable, but that was really, it was really a lot. But I think it speaks to the strength of how well, for Anna Shirley, they were able to mimic that, and like how they were able to capture it too, of just this person who was always so large in life and like had like big dreams of wanting to throw like parties and go out places, and was like part of her class, and like was gonna go with them to school, and obviously like she had different routes, but she was gonna get married and all that stuff, and it just sucked. It really just sucked. It broke my heart. I hate it. I don't like it, but I love the show for making me feel that at the very least, because it was able to capture a pain. It was able to capture a pain that I was afraid to experience, and they did such a good job at it. Like, I think after this episode, Shirley Ann is definitely up there for anime of the year for me. Like, it's crazy, and unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna win, because I know for like, God, I want to say for like the first 1/4 of the show at the very least, I was definitely not rocking with it. It took a good while. It took a really good while for me to rock with it, and it was such a slow burn. Like before, like if you go back to the way that I was watching Anna Shirley before, I was like, yeah, it's kind of whatever. Like, it's cute, but like it's fine. But like, it's definitely like as she grows up, when it's just like, oh my God, like, no, she's just like, it's like the world around her is changing, and she's going through these things, and it's, man, genuinely, I fucking love this show, man. I genuinely love this show so goddamn much. And the final show that we're going to be talking about is, in fact, To Be Hero X. Both of the episodes. Now that we can actually talk about the Sunday anime. We can talk about it, and sorry, I gotta adjust myself. We have so much to talk about. We have so much to talk about. Okay, so where we left off was we saw Nice, right? Nice, and oh my God, what is his name? Wow, I've said his name this entire time. I forget his name. Electrical Isol. We've seen Nice and Isol ambush the team. Isol's taking care of Shadow Blade and Little Johnny, while Nice is taking care of Nono, the dad, professor, and I forget her name, but I'm pretty sure her souvenir name would be Bunny, right? And so they're having their fight. So all of this whole episode was basically just like a whole fight sequence. We do get a little bit of info about how, like, you know, they're trying to not integrate. What's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to get rid of any use of fear, because apparently, actually, I don't know if, is the commission? I don't know if the commission stuff is in this episode or the next episode. I actually don't know. I actually do not know. But either way, Isol and Nice were sent on a mission to basically get rid of all of them. And obviously, they're getting close to it. But Big Johnny decided to go ahead and fuck shit up. Fuck shit up good. And so, like, it was those two, and they were taking care of, and like, they were like still fighting. And it seems like the bunny girl actually got the better of Nice for once, was able to get out, but unfortunately, there were all the goons that were outside, and they took out her father, hurt Nono, and it was bad. That it was bad. It was bad and it was not great. It was not great at all. And so she goes on a massive rage state. And to be fair, I don't know if what she was able to use was fear. I don't know if that was the case, because she was going toe to toe with Nyaight, even without like the suit. So I wonder if she got a little fear from all the anger, or maybe it's another emotion that we may be finding out. I don't know. But we do see Big Johnny also come out about to attack everybody, and like it's just a whole chaotic stuff. That was until our main girls, Queen and Cyan, both come to save the day. Queen, oh, I love her so much. Queen coming out, stunning out, stopping everybody, and she knows too. She looked at it, she's like, I see you, Nyaight. I see you, Esau, motherfuckers. What are we doing here? Why are y'all here? What is this? What is everything that's happening right now? What are you doing? She doesn't say that, but she gives them the look of, interesting. I don't recall you being here, so apologies. Queen just makes me choke on my breath because she's stunning. And then Cyan comes up, obviously, to go help little Johnny. And it seems like Queen also knows the fact that that big monster is Big Johnny. So either the monster that they saw back there, which that still hasn't been addressed. But I mean, like, to be fair, the vigor for Superhero X has been massively renewed for me. Again, I was a hater. I was sitting there, I was like, ooh, I don't know. But I'm not gonna lie, the payoff, I take everything back. I take everything back I said. It paid off so hard. It paid off so hard. Everything was good. Everything was great. Everything was awesome. Brother. Oh my God, this show has proven me wrong. I just didn't let it cook. And then you know what? That is completely my fault. That is 100% my own fault. And I can admit that. I can admit that 100%. It is 100% my fault. But yeah, Queen and Cyan are able to fix everything and save everybody. They weren't able to, and Nyaight and Esau weren't able to take out the rest of the crew. So now there are people that know. Nono's still alive, although she's badly injured. But Bunny is still alive. Little Johnny still alive. And Shadowblade is still alive. Which that's very interesting that Shadowblade's still alive, because Shadowblade was part of the team that was supposed to, you know, take everybody out. But obviously that wasn't the case. And so I wonder if, I assume he'll be switching sides, because he's like, okay, well, y'all tried to take me out. That's not good. So go to hell with each and every one of you. But we see a little bit of like an after effect of what happened. Everyone's hero ranks is kind of like went up after the whole thing. Queen shot the hell up. Cyan shot the hell up. Even Nyaight and Esau, who were there, everyone kind of got played off as, oh yeah, they were all there to save the day and, like, you know, haha, sweep everything under the rug. But all those heroes, they damn well know what's been going on, and that is very, very going to be interesting to see in the next couple of episodes. It also does seem, I think they talk about it in this episode, but it seems like Queen's agency, or like the head of Queen's agency, the one that has Lucky Cyan and Little Johnny and Queen herself, and the industry, not the industry, but the company that has, I assume it's Nyaight and Esau? No, because Esau has Rock, I think, which is very interesting the way that plays out. Hold on, I'm confused now. Okay, I will admit, I have found a little bit of a confusion. So, obviously, I know that Rock was in fact working with Esau. I know that Rock was in fact working with Esau. We saw that whole episode and how that worked out. And so, my curiosity and image is that, like, Rock, so you would assume that Rock and Esau are working together because they're both assassinating the same people. However, to be fair, they do seem like they were working together, or they do seem like they were talking, which is interesting because Rock and Nyaigh's agency seemed like it was potentially working together. Maybe, yes, no, maybe so. I don't actually know, if I'm being completely honest. So, yeah. I don't know, it's a little bit confusing for me, now that I think about it. Basically, in my mind, I don't know if I've been articulating it well everyone, but Esau is under Rock's agency. Nyaight is under, I mean, I was going to save it for that part, but we know. It was, it wasn't Yang Chen, because Yang Chen is Esau, and it wasn't Cha-Ching. But the friend that got shot, his father's under Nyaigh's agency, and then we have, and then who's the other hero? Because there's Nyaight and Angel, and then Shadowblade's under Rock, also it's under Rock's agency. And then we have the Queen's agency, who have Little Johnny, Cyan, and Queen. And then Bunny is technically under, not under control, but she's technically working under the facility. So there's like four different, there's four different like factions I feel like that are at play. And it doesn't make sense because I know Tachin's friend's dad, or Yang Chen's friend's dad, is trying to get revenge on whoever murked his son, which I think he knows is in fact Rock. But I don't think he'd be working with Rock. But that also makes me wonder why Iso was there. I have a lot of questions, but the anime will clarify it. Maybe I'm just stupid. That's a totally plausible thing. But the next episode, oh no, wait, I don't want to hold on. I was going to say this as well. There was that confirmation. There was someone in the comments who, by the way, I forget your tag, but I know you've been the one who's been talking about the Tubi Hero X stuff. Really appreciate it, by the way. But I know that they mentioned that a lot of this was like in the past, and that has to mention with like the animation change. And I think a lot of people assume that the animation change was because of like other stuff, but at the end of it, we do see X. And he's in the 3D animation style. So this does play into what he was talking about before, where it's potentially, all of this is like in the past, before stuff like The Commoner comes out, right? Which also means, I think the Nyaight that we're seeing right now is also the Nyaight that we see in the first episode murk himself. That's my theory. Not my theory. That seems like the most logical conclusion. Because when we get like a little glimpse of like that, the dude taking care of Nyaight, he brings up the fact that like, oh yeah, Miss J is gonna be taking care of you. Which means that before that, Miss J was taking care of this person, who does seem like the asshole Nyaight, which makes me think at some point, Moonlight has to show up, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. Moonlight at some point has to show up. So then we'll most likely figure out why Nyaight ended up doing what he did to himself. Also, on top of that, with the whole new episode, it's surrounded around two new people. Well, I think we saw one of them at the very beginning. Oh my god, there's so much to talk about. Okay, hold on. At the end of the first episode, we get introduced to a new character, and we also find out that Rock is trying to make another Zero, which was the first hero who was basically a god. And the commission is trying to not only get rid of fear, but get rid of trust value in order to get rid of, in order to never create a god again. Because they're like, oh, heroes are a benefit, but they also become a detriment if they become too strong, if their trust values are too high. So we have to kind of like balance out and mitigate stuff. So it's like, there's some people who are like, oh yeah, you're becoming too powerful. You need to be like marked off. Which I think is what's happening with the new character we get introduced to, which is Smile. And we also see that we get a little glimpse of X, and it does seem like X and Smile actually know each other, which is also kind of cool. Well, this whole episode was basically around a new introduction to the hero Smile, and the new hero, I'm not gonna lie, I forget his name, I think it was like Dragon something, but we get the episode starts off with him. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm like genuinely excited, I'm trying to follow it myself, but I still don't understand his power. I think it's kind of like, I think his power is similar to the way Vibranium works, where he takes a bunch of damage and he can just store it up and recoil it back to somebody. So that's what I assume his power is. So yeah, Rock, he's under Rock's agency, and Rock is telling him like, listen, we gotta get you in the top 10 if we want you in the competition. So we gotta get rid of the most likely person, which is Smile. So that was this whole episode around. And then we see that like this Nyaight, which I assume was the previous Nyaight, actually does have a soft spot for people like Smile, who actually inspired him to be like something, which also does confirm as well this is also the old Nyaight, because we see his friend that he, just long ago stopped talking to. So that's, yeah, that pretty much confirms it. But it also seems like this Nyaight he's teetering behind trying to be good and trying to be bad and playing both sides. So that's what it seems is to be the case for the most part. The ending to the third episode makes sense now. Because wow, I just had a brain blast. Hold on. Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, my bad. So, for the longest time, I was trying to wonder like what would be the purpose of Iso actually taking out the comment, like it made no sense, right? But we already got our answer, right? It's because this nice that's Ling Ling, that's like completely different from how previous nights were act, is actually like a good guy. But he's also very much what Rock and them don't want. So that's why he's probably like, he got rid of both Moonlight and why he got rid of Ling Ling. But we don't know if he got rid of Ling Ling. We don't know if he got rid of Ling Ling, and we don't know if he's still alive. I mean, it could be the case, it could not be the case. It'd be very interesting to see if that was the case. But yeah, he's like the new, so like, oh, that's so interesting. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, I finally got my answer. Okay, that's nice. I'm good. I'm happy. But yeah, this whole episode was basically the assassination attempt of Smile. And Smile and X are together. They got like, honestly, Smile and X, they got a little bit of cute romance. I like that. I like that a lot. It was cool. It's cool and it's awesome and I appreciate it. But now that we kind of got the confirmation that this is in the past, now we got the kind of information that whatever X's power is this like weird thing that he can do. What is it? I mean, I assume we'll get answers. We got a couple of episodes. We got a couple of episodes left, right? I think this was episode 21, I think. So we got like 3 or 4 episodes left. So we'll get our answers. But man, I am very excited. Oh yeah, also I should say Dragon and Smile do end up fighting, and Nice is there waiting, where he's just like, listen, don't do anything. I just want to do it, and you can have the credit. I don't give a fuck. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead, just stay there and don't do anything. And that's where the episode ends. Oh, to say that my love for this show has been restored, it definitely has been restored. Because before I was just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know where it's going. But again, like I said, I should have let this cook. I should have let this. It was simmering, and I was impatient. I could be completely honest with myself. It was simmering, and I was impatient because this was goated. You could tell because this is the longest section in the entire thing. This was goated. This was hard. Man, this anime is great. This anime is awesome. I fucking love it. It's fucking cool. So many of my answers so many of my questions not only got answered, but I got satisfying answers to those questions. That makes me want to ask more questions. And you know what? I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait now. And you know what? I just also saw that it got confirmed for a second season. And it seems like it's going to be a 48 episode anime. So the second season is going to be the last season. Oh, I'm so ready. Give me everything, please. I need that to come out like winter of 2026. I don't think it will. I assume it'll come out probably sometime in like 2027. But I am so ready. I'm ready for season 2. I know I haven't finished with season 1 yet, but I'm so ready for season 2. Watch it pull out an episode to piss me off. That'd be the most bullshit thing. I swear to God. But that is it, and that is all. Let's get ready to end the call. Thank you guys for joining another episode of the podcast. I appreciate you all and joining. Remember, if you guys want to check out my main stuff, I've been doing a upload every Monday. This Monday, I have uploaded a review of Apocalypse Hotel. Before that was Rocket Lady's Modesty, and before that was the Ruby Ice Kingdom anime, and before that was Solo Leveling Season 2. I've been pumping out reviews, and I got more in my pockets, and I got more videos coming out every Monday, so go subscribe there. And also make sure to check out the Infinitycast, both on their website and on their channel. They're the guys that help keep this alive as best as I can. It's on the website. I wish it be on the channel, but that's fine. But let's go ahead and give them some love as well. And also anything you want to check out, my socials, their socials, all that stuff, the link is going to be in the description. Everything is going to be in the description. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, good night, and have a wonderful day.